Aloha. It's Trinidad the Islandman, your Islandman, coming to you live once again from beautiful Hawaii here on the island Oahu, bringing you my thoughts on, mainly one event from the San Diego Comic-Con convention that occurred Saturday at Saturday's MCU panel. And, of course, they announced a lot of stuff. They talked about the new Captain America film. They talked about, the Thunderbolts. They talked about even the Fantastic Four. But most of all, what they talked about that is on everybody's tongue, on the tip of their tongues, is essentially the news that Robert Downey Jr. is coming back to the MCU to play, yes, Doctor Doom. Now, there's a couple of theories on that. There's a couple of ideas that people are wondering about for that. Is he going to be Victor Von Doom, the Doctor Doom, or is he just going to be, a variant evil version of Iron Man, and being that type of Doctor Doom? We didn't really get any details. Either one could work. Robert Downey Jr., as the Russo brothers, did go ahead and state he is a very good actor. He could completely, totally bring on and focus the role of Victor Von Doom, completely erasing any thoughts of Tony Stark from the role, especially, with his face totally covered in the mask of Doctor Doom, and in that armor. Why not, right? However, I don't know. I mean, why put Robert Downey Jr. in there if he's not going to play a version of Tony Stark as Victor Von Doom? Or as Doctor Doom, I guess. Tony Stark as being Doctor Doom. I believe that does have some precedence in the comics. In the 2000 era. Unfortunately, that's when I kind of fell out of comics. Doctor Doom, all the way from the 70s through the 90s, even the 60s, was Victor Von Doom, his own separate person, even rivaling a couple of, comics against Iron Man himself. There was a later, newer version of Iron Man, an evil Iron Man named, that went by Superior Iron Man, basically being an evil version of Iron Man, and that could be the Doctor Doom type of character that we're going to be portrayed. But he came out in that mask, and he said, new mask, same task. Uniting the world, protecting the world. And as anyone knows, Doctor Doom is, is many things. Some people say, true, he's a despot. He's an autocrat in his country of Latveria, where he rules with an iron fist. But to say that he is a cruel, callous leader? No, he's certainly not. He looks after his people. He cares for them. He gives them all of the essentials and basic needs. If one were to look at the gross domestic product or the affluency of Latvians, you would find that they are pretty well off, especially in comparison to much other countries throughout the world. Doctor Doom, Victor Von Doom himself will preach of his fairness and, lawfulness when ruling his country and talking about ruling his country. This is all going to be interesting types of things to see. So what we what I believe when he said that, Robert Downey Jr. saying new mask, same old task, is essentially the protection of the world, but putting it under, putting the world in a protective suit of armor is kind of what I believe he was referring to. Dr. Doom wants to protect the world from alien invaders, even malevolent, you know, forces throughout the world itself, not just foreign alien entities. So, his protecting the world under what he seems to be best under his guidance would be, in his eyes, the best result. Kind of like Thanos is like the best result is destroying half of the universe. One cannot argue that it's like, well, he did have a point in a way, just to achieve that utopian universe was very extreme. And Dr. Doom, having to give up certain civil liberties, Americans might gasp at, but for the benefit of the entire world, Dr. Doom would see that it's a fair trade-off. So that's probably what they're going to do. But again, I really hope it's not a version of Tony Stark, that this is that the Tony Stark iteration for this Doctor Doom will totally be Victor Von Doom and his own person, his own entity, and not a Tony Stark wannabe or a Tony Stark light or extra heavy, I guess, if you're thinking of him as a strict villain per se. What do I mean by that? I mean, I don't want to see Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr. playing Victor Von Doom, Doctor Doom, in the 2026 movie Doomsday, featuring Doctor Doom, giving him his own origin story, maybe a brush with Reed Richards to get that rivalry going in the Reed Richards Fantastic Four multiverse or dimension or whatever, and not have anything to do with his, Tony Stark or Iron Man as we have known him, and just be the Victor Von Doom, Doctor Doom persona, ruler of Latveria, as he becomes, a totally different person, only played by the same actor of Robert Downey Jr. I don't want to see Tony Stark, I'm Tony Stark and I am evil now, and call me Doctor Doom, yeah, aka Tony Stark. No, I don't want to see that. I want to see Victor Von Doom as he was. Yes, he can be played by Robert Downey Jr. He's a good actor. He can do that. He's an Oscar-winning actor now. So, yeah, he could totally pull it off. But he's got to be a separate persona, a total separate person and individual, and you have to make me believe that. Sure, it'll throw everybody for a loop from 611 dimension or world, where the our MCU takes place, to see someone with the face of Tony Stark but being Victor Von Doom, and that will totally throw people for a loop. I think they lost a lot of the surprise. It would have been nice to see that surprise, and maybe, in the Secret Wars, to follow that Victor Von Doom story, to see a version of Tony Stark, or the Tony Stark that we know, come to grips with, why has this man got my face? Or, which is not outside the realm of possibility, but, contend with him mano-a-mano for a moment or two, for a beat or two, in the Secret Wars movie. to try to combat Doctor Doom, as we've seen in the comics, Iron Man, Tony Stark versus Doctor Doom, Victor Von Doom, several times, both technologically advanced. Will this Doctor Doom have magic capabilities as he's known in the comics? I guess we'll just have to wait and see until the 2026 Doomsday movie to see if this is actually going to be a Victor Von Doom character, raised, his mother gypsies, turns to the dark arts, with enough magic capability to rival that of Doctor Strange, the Earth Sorcerer Supreme, and even possibly, and of course his technological equal as well, if not, in Doom's own words, superior. Second only, although he wouldn't admit it, to Reed Richards himself, who is known to be smarter than even Tony Stark. So we'll just have to see about that. And again, we won't have any confirmations until we get that movie and that information out. But I guess I'm fairly excited. I'm interested. I'm a little hesitant, honestly, but those are my thoughts. But I'm game to give it a try with Robert Downey Jr. being Doctor Doom. And again, if he is Victor Von Doom and not any type connected other than, a resemblance to to Tony Stark, I'll be happy, because he's got to be Victor Von Doom. He's got to be a Victor Von Doom to be Doctor Doom. Or else he's just, if it's an evil Iron Man version, then he's just superior Iron Man, which we've seen many, many times in the comics. Which isn't bad, but again, it's no Doctor Doom. And could they do a bait and switch and have somebody else be Doctor Doom later? Possibly. I mean, there is ways, throughout the comics that has been done. A contingency plan for Doom to continue and rule his country, despite, meeting an unfortunate end. So all of that is up for grabs, and something to think about moving ahead into the future as we wait these next 2 years for Doomsday, waiting for Doomsday, and then finally Secret Wars the next year, 2027, for that. So those are my thoughts. I'm a little excited. I'm a little, cautious about Robert Downey Jr. Being chosen for Doctor Doom, but I'm willing to give it a shot. I'll definitely go see the movie and see what I think of it, and I'll let you guys know as soon as it comes out. All right. So again, just my thoughts on the main story that came out of San Diego Comic-Con's MCU panel. All right. Everybody's talking about that one for sure. They may be mentioning the others, but it's the RDJ news that, has set the internet on fire this weekend. All right. Mahalo and aloha.